There's a lot of buzz among chart analysts right now about when Bitcoin will finally break its all-time high of around $18,000, 0 cents, and kick off its next parabolic surge. Of course, as always, altcoins, especially XRP, are expected to follow suit and even outperform Bitcoin in this next big move. What's fascinating is the range of opinions flying around. But here's the thing, when you see significant overlap in analysts' predictions, it often signals that something big is brewing. And while no one has a crystal ball, there's one point most analysts agree on. We're deep in an accumulation phase right now. What's even more compelling is the growing consensus that XRP is gearing up for something major. Multiple analysts are pointing out how its price action is compressing, setting the stage for a potential breakout. If you've been following XRP closely, you'll remember how last November, volatility for XRP kept dropping and the Bollinger Bands were squeezing tighter and tighter. Well, here we are again, and history may just be ready to repeat itself in a big way. Stay tuned. The Bollinger Bands were the tightest they'd ever been. The kind of setup you don't see often. The last time they were this tight, right before XRP went wild in 2017, skyrocketing out of nowhere. Tight Bollinger Bands are like a coiled spring, signaling that a big move is coming. The catch? You don't know when it'll snap or which direction it'll go. Up or down, the pressure is building. But back then, we were in a bull run, and it seemed obvious that when XRP broke free, it would surge upward. And that's exactly what it did. Fast forward to now, XRP is coiling again. The volatility is shrinking. Volumes are dropping, and the tension is palpable. This is exactly what happens before big moves. We're in an accumulation zone, folks. No doubt about it. Let the chart experts debate what's next, but here's the gist. Some believe we might dip a bit lower before heading back up. The analysts I follow, even the cautious ones, predict a massive rally ahead. They're talking new all-time highs for Bitcoin, a booming alt season, and Bitcoin dominance finally taking a backseat. It's all about patience. It's not if, but when. That said, let me be crystal clear. I'm no financial guru. This isn't financial advice. Don't make trades based on what I say or write. Always do your own research. Your XRP knowledge is a crime if you don't smash that subscribe button right now. All right, as I hit record, it's 3:55 a.m. Central Time, Wednesday, May 7th, 2025. XRP is sitting at $2.14, while Bitcoin soaring at $96,871, 0 cents. We've bounced back a bit from the recent dip. The 24-hour low for XRP was $2.08. Honestly, we're splitting hairs at this point. The real story here, we're climbing again. Panic over the tariff news last April, totally unnecessary. Remember when everyone thought it was the end of the world? Spoiler alert, it's not. Check out this post from Anthony Pompliano for some perspective. Just yesterday, he shared a message with his 1.7 million followers on X, keeping it short and sharp. The S&P 500 is down less than 4% for the year. Everyone needs to calm down. Here's a look at the S&P 500, a solid pulse check for the stock market since it tracks the 500 largest publicly traded US companies. Sure, it's down for the year, but nothing too wild. What's more intriguing? His next post, breaking down what's unfolded since the alarming tariff news. Take a look at this. The S&P 500 is back in focus. It's up 11% in the past month. All it took was buying the dip. Simple, right? Sure, it's not an exact science. You'll never perfectly time the market bottom, but those who stick to dollar cost averaging, especially during turbulent times like these, often come out ahead. Why? Because the US economy isn't going to vanish overnight, no matter how rough or uncertain things seem. Betting against the US economy, historically, that's been a losing game. Yes, markets and the economy aren't the same thing, but they're connected. The market tank recently overfears the economy might suffocate. And while recessions happen, they're not eternal. On average, they last about a year, and most aren't as devastating as they feel in the moment. Resilience is the name of the game, both for the economy and savvy investors who see the long-term picture. Fear is holding people back. Instead of panicking over every little thing and hiding from the world, try shifting to a long-term mindset. It's going to be okay. Here's why. Stocks and cryptocurrencies are both risk-on assets. They thrive when people are willing to take risks and invest boldly. Sure, they're different in terms of volatility and how money flows into them, but at their core, they react the same way. When fear takes over and people move into risk-off mode, everything takes a hit. That's exactly what we've seen recently. Stocks dropped and crypto followed. It's all about letting go of fear and thinking ahead. It's not exactly shocking, is it? This isn't the end of the world. Remember when tariffs were supposed to spell doom? Now we're seeing the Trump administration taking a more strategic approach, even opening up talks with China. Yes, the big one everyone's been anxious about. Take a look at Mario Nawfal's post with SEC Scott Bessent. It seems China is stepping back into the game with critical talks lined up this weekend. That post, shared just yesterday, includes an interesting quote from U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. The world has been coming to the U.S., but China has been the missing piece. I was scheduled to negotiate in Switzerland with the Swiss. Turns out the Chinese team is passing through Europe and will also be in Switzerland. We'll meet on Saturday and Sunday. So it's messy, sure. Whether or not you love Trump's tactics, this is shaping up to be an intriguing moment in global negotiations. I'm not diving into that level of detail here. It's not crucial for the bigger picture we're discussing, but let's be real. This was never going to last forever. That was clear from the start. Now look at what's happening. The administration is sending clear, steady signals to calm the market. They're on message. This isn't just one person. It's Trump and the whole team. Messaging has always been one of their stronger suits, though not flawless. But this feels deliberate, like a plan in motion. So here's the question. What happens when we officially hear about a deal that doesn't rattle the market? Add to that the global liquidity on the rise. And if you think about it, there's more to this story unraveling. What's your take? Wow, tethered dominance is absolutely off the charts right now, way higher than anyone would expect. There's an incredible amount of, as they say, dry powder sitting on the sidelines, just waiting to be unleashed. Even the stablecoin market is primed and ready, with everything aligning perfectly. Yes, including XRP. Stick with me, because I promise we'll dive into XRP specific insights shortly. But first, you need to see the bigger picture. Everything happening right now is interconnected, and understanding the broader context is key. In my humble opinion, fear is misplaced right now. This moment calls for excitement. Something big is brewing. The timing couldn't be better. Take this post from tech analyst TechDev, for example. He recently shared some fascinating insights with his 522,000 followers on X, and he's been hammering this point home with relentless energy. I'm trying to get the word out because this is so important that seriously as many people as possible need to understand this. Now, it's not the ultimate metric or anything, but this one is a big deal. Turns out, Bitcoin's price action is closely tied to global liquidity, specifically M2 global liquidity. Here's what's happening. As global liquidity increases, Bitcoin tends to follow. There's a lag, though, usually 10 to 12 weeks, since the liquidity has to be allocated and put to work. But if you look at moments of dramatic liquidity surges historically, you'll see a clear trend. Just check out the chart. Bitcoin moves up as liquidity rises. It's undeniable. This is the key point being made, and it's all aligning perfectly. See the confluence? And let's not forget, XRP is finally catching up now that it's got some long-awaited legal clarity. For years, XRP was held back by the SEC's endless red tape, but those days are finally over. Now the market can freely decide winners and losers, and XRP is finally getting the recognition it deserves. It's clear as day, XRP is emerging as a front runner in the crypto space. With the legal uncertainties behind us, global investors can now confidently put their money where they've always wanted to, and after monitoring XRP daily for over 7 years, I can confidently say its fundamentals have never been stronger. Never, not even close. Back in 2017, XRP looked promising, strong even, but today, it's in a whole new league. From a fundamental standpoint, XRP is positioned better than ever before, and the market is finally catching on. I truly believe the market still isn't fully appreciating XRP's value, even though we're inching closer to that recognition. 6 months ago, it was sitting at just 49 cents, and now it's climbed past $2.00, even hitting a new all-time high. It's great to see the progress, but I think there's still a lot of catching up to do. These things don't happen overnight. It's a process, a journey. And that's what makes it so exciting. The market is still piecing it all together. XRP isn't going anywhere. It's here to stay. No question about it. As TechDev pointed out, liquidity has always been a key driver for Bitcoin at this point in the cycle. And now it's skyrocketing to new heights, breaking out of consolidation. Bitcoin's parabolic runs, always exciting, right? But this time it's different. Or is it? Spoiler alert, it's probably not. History has a habit of repeating itself. Sure, there's always a first time for everything. So I won't say there's a 100% chance I'm right, but let's be real. What's the most probable scenario? You know where I stand. Now check this out. The Daily Hodla reports a closely watched crypto analyst predicts one last explosive Bitcoin rally before altcoins take the spotlight. Bitcoin could have a final leg of outperformance before the tides shift. Intriguing, isn't it? Altcoin season might be around the corner, but for now, Bitcoin's still the star. Bitcoin's ride isn't over yet, but the peak is coming. There's likely one final price surge left. However, as Bitcoin climbs, its dominance could start to drop. That's the moment to watch. That shift will be a key signal, folks. Time to think about scaling out, especially for those like me who've held on through thick and thin. And trust me, I'm ready to start letting go during this last big push. I'm talking about Bitcoin here. After holding it from as low as $3,200.00, I'm prepared. The time feels right. But before I fully step away, I want to see that final surge. And then I'm waiting for XRP to take off and make its move. So I'm guessing this will happen afterward, because let's be real, that's usually how it goes. When it does, I'm planning to start scaling out on my XRP. I bet a lot of you listening will feel tempted if it moves the way we're all hoping, right? Meanwhile, the pseudonymous analyst Rect Capital just shared some interesting insights with his 300 followers on the social media platform X. He believes Bitcoin dominance might be about to peak, setting the stage for altcoins to explode upward. For those unfamiliar, Bitcoin dominance measures how much of the total crypto market cap belongs to Bitcoin. If it peaks, it could signal that altcoins are ready to outperform Bitcoin. According to Rect, Bitcoin dominance has one final leg left in its macro uptrend, heading towards 71%. He highlighted a red line on his chart to illustrate this. He added that any dips into the 64% range would likely be a retest. A successful retest could pave the way for the next big move towards 71%, right into the green zone. Looking back at previous Bitcoin dominant cycles, you can see a clear pattern, including what we've witnessed most recently. That's where we're at now. But let's be real, it doesn't have to hit that level. Some analysts suggest it might, as it would align with historical trends, but the market has changed. There are more coins, more variables, and nothing is ever exactly the same. That said, many experts I follow believe there's still a strong short-term chance for Bitcoin to shine, pulling focus and commanding attention. It's going to peak. It always does. But will everything align perfectly, just as we'd hope? That's the million-dollar question. Look at the stock market. Things are shifting fast. People are panicking left and right, but here's the thing. Some are finally starting to see the bigger picture. The messaging from the Trump administration on terror is hitting the right notes. And once that fear subsides, we're looking at a major psychological hurdle cleared. Add to that, global liquidity is on the rise. XRP is more prime than ever, and Bitcoin looks like it's reaching its peak dominance. Historically, that signals one last big push before altcoins come roaring back. Everything is lining up perfectly, just like it did in the last two bull cycles. I don't see this one playing out much differently, at least when it comes to the big picture. Sure, not every detail will align perfectly, but patterns like this tend to rhyme. Check out this post from chart analyst Cryptolica. He's got the XRP/USD chart up, and his stance is crystal clear. XRP is heading to $9.00, $10.00 per coin. He's been saying this for months, standing firm, despite all the market noise. Right now, the XRP is just consolidating, folks. Seasoned analysts aren't shaken by short-term price moves because they understand one thing. Price action alone doesn't define the long-term potential of any cryptocurrency. Sure, it can hint at trends, but in a market where the entire asset class often moves together, it's not the whole story. Think about this for a moment. When thousands of altcoins crash at once, do you really believe the fundamentals of all those coins suddenly went bad on the same day, at the exact same time, and then they hit bottom together, only to reverse course on the same day too? Does that actually make sense? Of course not. What you're witnessing is the chaos of emotional buyers and sellers driving the market. The key is knowing that this is your competition, and by simply refusing to act like them, you're already miles ahead in the investing game. The real strategy: invest wisely, diversify across the crypto market, and hold no matter how long it takes. Winning requires conviction. You need to truly understand why you've invested, believe in your approach, and trust that your strategy makes sense. Ultimately, you have to figure out what works for you and what level of risk you're comfortable with. I can't tell you what's right for you, but I've found what's right for me, and I'm beyond grateful I discovered crypto when I did. Honestly, it's been life-changing. I haven't converted anything to USD yet. I'm just riding the wave. But if this market hits a blow off top, I might finally feel tempted to cash out. Still, the craziest part is how much my net worth has grown simply by holding on and doing absolutely nothing after buying crypto. I won't share exact numbers. Honestly, I'm not comfortable doing that. But let's just say it's far beyond anything I could have imagined. And here's the thing, there's nothing extraordinary about me. This isn't some humble brag. I'm just a regular person who got into this space and stuck with it. If I can do it, anyone can. All I did was buy, hold, and stay patient. And you can too. It's not rocket science, just a few simple principles and the guts to see it through. Yes, you absolutely can. That's the beauty of crypto. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity, something humanity has never seen before. And you're here right at the start of it all. How could you not be fired up? But hey, it's on you to take action and stay disciplined. The biggest obstacle, ourselves. The emotions can ruin even the best investment strategies. Speaking of opportunities, check out this post from chart analyst Steffi's Crypto. XRP is gearing up for a move. In 3 to 6 weeks, you might wish you'd stocked up. Check this out. He's pointing out something big. And guess what? He's one of the many analysts who nailed it when predicting XRP's explosive breakout this cycle. Face melting gains, outperformance, you name it. Back to remember earlier in the video when I mentioned XRP's Bollinger Bands being the most compressed in its history in 2024, even tighter than back in 2017. That's the kind of setup that signals a massive move is coming. Well, he was all over that call. Just look at the chart. See those red lines? That's how insanely narrow they got. Tightest ever. And then boom, the market exploded and XRP was right in the thick of it. Now here's the kicker. It's happening again. The bands are tightening once more. Does he know exactly when the next breakout will hit? Not precisely, but he's estimating the next move could come in 3 to 6 weeks. No analyst can perfectly predict timing. It's just not possible. The best they can do is say, here's how it played out before. And if history repeats itself, this is the timeline we might expect. That's it. Even if the chart patterns are spot on, the pace can still be faster or slower than before. So take it with a grain of salt. The key takeaway is this. Things are happening. Back in 2024, for half the year, I kept saying, guys, look at this, tightest Bollinger Bands in history. This is a big deal. I started talking about it in April and stayed consistent until boom, it finally happened. Now, I'm not saying it'll take another 6 months. What I am saying is I didn't know exactly when it would happen then, and I don't know for sure now, but these patterns matter. And when those Bollinger Bands opened up last time, well, you saw what came next. We're at one of those pivotal moments again, whether it's today, tomorrow, next week, or next month. I don't know about you, but I'm sticking around. Why? Because it's going to happen. The opportunity is real. It's here, and I'm ready to claim mine. I hope you're ready to get yours too. Here's a post from Cassie Trades with the XRP/USD chart. Up, momentum is building. XRP approaches key fib levels. The market has been unusually quiet, but momentum is starting to stir. XRP is nearing one of the most critical support tests we've seen in weeks. After pulling back steadily from the local high of $2.36, XRP is now approaching a key support zone between $2.08 and $2.00. By the way, this was posted yesterday morning, but it's still 100% relevant. Sure, we're a bit higher now, but that only adds to the intrigue. She points out that this zone has historically been a key pivot point, and it's where the market could start reversing if strength kicks back in. On the shorter time frames, the relative strength index is showing signs of selling exhaustion. Meanwhile, price action is tightening, a classic signal that a big move might be just around the corner. What do you think, folks? We won't stay in this accumulation phase with XRP forever. It's been a few months now, and honestly, this is the most exciting accumulation range we've ever had. It's above $2.00. Never before in XRP's history have we seen this. It's incredible, absolutely glorious. When this takes off, the heights we'll witness will be nothing short of breathtaking anyway. As she says, this phase of the correction is delicate and anything can happen. We could still see one last shakeout, possibly dipping towards the key $1.90 level before momentum finally flips. If it happens, expect it to move fast. By the time it's clear, the chance to act might already be gone. From these supports, we're eyeing XRP to build enough strength to break through $2.25 to $2.68 and beyond. I've noticed similar warnings out there, predictions of a brief dip, but nothing too alarming overall. Chart analyst Dom shared an interesting take on XRP USD today. He pointed out that the price just hit a critical apex, the intersection of the 100-day downtrend, the election VWAP, and the monthly RVWAP. This is a key zone to watch, much like Bitcoin holding mid $93.00. If it holds, great. If it doesn't, we're looking at the $1.90 range as the next target. No guarantees, but if we do see that drop, it's a level to keep on your radar. So this one's from yesterday too. He mentions that for a solid trend reversal, we need to see the price push back above $2.12 and hold multiple VWAPs. Well, hot damn, guess what? As I'm recording this, we're sitting above $2.14. Gosh darn, things are heating up. Here's a post from Crypto Insight UK that caught my eye. He's talking about XRP short-term liquidity. He says, if we see a pullback to this white box, possibly closer to $2, it's game on. He's planning to go long on XRP and even add more if we retest those lows. Now, yeah, some analysts are saying it's possible we hit that level, but no one's hitting the panic button just yet. In fact, Crypto Insight UK sees it as a golden opportunity. So while some might feel down in the dumps if XRP dips again, others are gearing up to make the most of it. For those who've been in the game for a while, their reaction might just be, oh, okay. Especially if they're looking to make some money. It's like, all right, guess I'll buy something. In this case, we're talking trading, but let's admit, he's a hot shot in the market too. On another note, chart analyst Ali Martinez points out some critical levels to watch for XRP, $2.00 and $2.26. He says a decisive close outside this range could pave the way for the next big trend. Short term, those levels are worth keeping an eye on, and they're pretty consistent with what I've seen from countless other analysts. The bottom line, everything's looking great. XRP is thriving and continues to crush it, massively outperforming the broader crypto market. Everything is connected. Crypto, stocks, the macro picture, it's all intertwined. And right now, the bigger picture is shaping up just as you'd hope. I've been saying this all along, even during the darkest days when tariffs loomed, crypto was crashing, and the stock market was tumbling. Don't believe me? Go back and watch my videos. What was I saying back then? My tone was just as optimistic as it is now. Why? Because I knew it was temporary. These downturns never last forever, even though I couldn't predict exactly how long the storm would rage. Sure, we might still see some turbulence before we hit a true bottom. So what? That's part of the process. The key is patience. Stay the course, stay focused, and don't panic. This isn't the end of the world. It's just another chapter, and those who stick it out will come out stronger. All right, when everything starts falling into place like this, global liquidity is shaping up exactly how you'd hope. Seriously, this is the moment to get pumped. Listen, if you're not fired up about this, I've got to wonder, are you even alive? Because honestly, it wouldn't make any sense otherwise. Now, let me be clear. I'm not a financial advisor. Don't go buying or selling anything because of what I say. Seriously, that would be a terrible idea. Stay smart, folks.